Hello, everyone. This is Rick with a Cyber Pro podcast. Industry leaders share their insights.
It's 5 questions in 9 minutes because hackers never sleep.
Question number one, who are you? What do you do?
So my name is Tabatha DiDomenico, and I'm actually a product marketer for the DiDomenico framework. And that's how it's said, just for those of you who have questioned me before, is DiDomenico. I'm also a cybersecurity grad student at the University of South Florida, go Bulls, as well as being a serial InfoSec conference organizer and volunteer. I started volunteering in 2014 with BSides Las Vegas, and now I sit on the board for SidesOrlando with some of your past guests, as well as being on the staff for the Diana initiative.
Wonderful. Do you have time to do anything else?
Barely. Sometimes I get to sleep. It's nice.
Fair enough. So question number two, what do you love about being a cyber professional?
So if you haven't gathered, I'm very service oriented, and I always have been. So being able to not only contribute, of course, through volunteering, but also by the work that I do contributes to serving the humans as a whole and just serving the planet as a whole to make it more secure. So for me, that's one of the best things about it is I can get a paycheck by doing what I truly love, helping people.
That's noble, and we appreciate that. So let's talk about cybersecurity. It's the buzzword of the day. It's a top concern. And I use air quotes because I want to know what that means to you.
So to me, cybersecurity impacts nearly every facet of our lives, and expanding the knowledge base that we have for cybersecurity through community events, through volunteering, through educational opportunities, be it within the industry, outside of the industry, with our own families and friends. That is what it means to me, because if cybersecurity is a top concern, it needs to be a top concern to everyone because it does impact everyone. And it's no longer as scary as I think it once was to hear security or hackers. And I feel like even lay people, if that's the right word, understand the difference between cyber criminals and hackers a bit better than they used to. So knowing that everybody's impacted by cybersecurity and the knowledge base is growing, that's the top concern for me.
So let's take that a step further. What piece of insight do you want to share with our community of cyber experts?
So back to the whole humans thing, and everybody's learning and growing as far as cybersecurity is concerned, is to keep the humans front and center in your work. The work that you do every day can seem very, very far away from, like, my grandmother, who, of course, has her passwords written down on a piece of paper somewhere. But when you're actually in the thick of your work, regardless of what your role is, ultimately your contributions can mean the difference between her information being breached and some criminal taking that and causing some serious damage to her life, not only just financially, but the mental trouble that happens when you have your identity stolen, for example, is significant. It definitely makes you feel unsafe. And if we want folks using the internet, we need to make sure that we are keeping them in the forefront of our minds. It's not just about securing systems, it's about securing the folks that are ultimately using those systems.
I almost wonder if your grandmother might be safer than us because she has it written down on a piece of paper. Sometimes I worry.
It's all about threat modeling, right?
Very true. Well, let's talk about.
What's your favorite piece of retro technology that makes you smile?
So I thought about this a lot. I will date myself by saying what my ultimate favorite piece of retro technology is, but it's the Armatron from Radio Shack. I don't know if you ever had this toy, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And it was likely the first introduction I had to that idea of what robotics could do. And so when I would use it, and it would work correctly, because that was always the trick with it, is that sometimes it would get stuck, as I would just try to explore the limits of what that toy could do. And it really kind of excelled my passion and drive for learning more about technology in our world.
I believe that tool was considered that toy was considered one of the first STEM toys, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, it's amazing.
That's amazing to me. I would have figured it would have been Lego considered being one of the first STEM toys, just considering how much you could do with Lego as well. And now they've basically combined the two, and you could do robotics using Legos, which is mind blowing and a lot of fun.
That is, yep, very much. So thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great time chatting with you.
You did it. You made it to the end. Check us out for future podcasts and more content.